Hello and welcome to this week's hangout that we have all together in the Ninja Parenting community, our live members only call. That's what it's called. Couldn't remember what it was called. And we've got a couple of great questions. We have got I've got some really exciting news to share with you guys about something new that we're doing, that I'm doing in the community, that I'm offering in the community, and I am just I had such a brainwave about this today, and I'm super, super, super excited to share it with you. So I have some notes. I guess the first thing I should do probably is talk about those changes, because the very first and foremost thing I want to do is reassure you that we're not taking anything away. What we're doing here is we're adding. And this morning I don't want to get into the whole story because I feel like it will take 10 minutes to tell, and that's not what this call is about. But basically, I had a nightmare last night that I turned into, if you ever have those nightmares where you wake up and you're just so angry that you had them. You know what, let me do something else first before I get into the story, and just check and see that you can hear and see me. That would probably be a useful thing. So if you are in the chat, just go ahead and type in if you can hear me, you see me, whatever. And I will just quickly check in the chat to see if anybody's here yet, and if you can hear me or see me or whatever. I'm super excited to this call. I think is going to be awesome. So let's just get started. There we go. Okay, Mama Llama's here. Woo 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 woo! And Jen is here, and she can see and hear. Yes, yes, yes. You guys, this is so great. I love this community so much. Okay, so I had a bad dream last night, and I woke up from it, and I was so angry that I had it, that what I basically did was I said to myself, I'm going to go back to sleep, and I'm going to make this dream come out better. And I did. So I don't know if you ever have that happen, but sometimes it does happen to me that I can do that. And last night I was successful, and I actually recorded. I've recorded the break for this coming Tuesday's episode, and so you'll hear this whole story then in the break. But basically, I woke up, and sometimes I like to try and figure out what is that dream trying to tell me? Like, what is my brain trying to tell me? And it occurred to me that my brain is basically trying to tell me that things are running away from me. Like I'm not organized enough. I'm getting carried away, literally carried away, because I was on a piece of ice getting carried out of the New York Harbor. That's why I don't know why that happened. I've been to New York Harbor once in my life, and I was like 25 or something. So anyway, so the dream seemed to be about that, and how to take control of it. And one of the things I decided to do was to restructure some of the parts of the Ninja Parenting community. And I don't know if you remember, in the last call, I was talking about teaching a class that was going to be about like childcare communication, fostering good communication with childcare. And what I've decided to do is basically take, I've been doing some research into this and looking like over the course of the entire Ninja Parenting community's lifetime, which is now more than 2 years, almost 3 years. And what I've determined is that the longer people are in this community, the better off they do, the more successful you are. And so I want to focus not so much on joining for a month, but instead joining for 3 months at a bare minimum. And I'm not going to change anything for you who are already in here. Like if you're like, oh God, I'm only a monthly member, what is that going to mean for me? It doesn't mean anything. Like no changes are happening. You guys have, because you've been in here, some of you since beta, and others are in here with the friends and family discount. I know you will get to stay at your current low rate every time if it renews every month or if it renews each year. As long as you're continuously in here, you will still be able to be in here at that price. So nothing is changing for you in terms of that. What I am doing is I am looking at quarterly focuses, what I'm calling parent focuses. And I'm encouraging people who join to commit in their minds for 3 full months so that they can really get a handle on this, and I'm treating it really like a mastermind, where you spend some time getting to know the technology, and then and you're learning and you're meeting the other people in the group, and you are learning that you can ask questions and that you can trust me to answer them and try to do my best for you, you know. And this mastermind is, or this group, the Ninja Parenting Community, this community is where my heart is, and that is the truth. As much as the podcast is super fun and I always want to do it, one of the things I love best about it is it's brought you guys to me, and you're my heart. So so I'm really, really happy to keep it and have it. All the resources that are in here, all the courses, all the cool stuff is always going to be in here, right? What I'm doing is I'm going to create a forum probably over the weekend or early next week. I'm going to create a new forum called Parent Focus. And the first quarterly focus is going to be on childcare communication. And then I thought of that because Mama Llama has been really vocal in here about advocating well for her child in terms of communicating with childcare. One of our other members, Tish, has had some struggles with communications with her with the teachers at her son's school. So there's definitely a couple of members who've been really vocal about that, and there are maybe others who are also having these issues and would probably like to, you know, hear about this as well. And then I thought, so Jen, you would reference the clothing meltdowns. I know there's a question about that. I'm going to get to it tonight. But one of the things about the clothing meltdowns is I thought that maybe that and your wonderful idea that you had shown us last year about, or told us about, with organizing the girls' clothes with pictures and stuff like that. So for the second quarter, from, what is that? April through June is going to be like taking on the challenge of organizing our homes, like making the place where we live with our families, you know, with ourselves, as organized and like set up for enjoyment of family as possible. So that's going to be the second quarter. And beyond that, I haven't thought, except that I think probably, well, I think third quarter is probably going to have something to do with school, because, or like education, something. And then fourth quarter is probably going to have something to do with celebrations, but I haven't gone beyond that. So anyway, just a little sneak preview there. And so for this first quarter, what I want to do is, I guess I also want to assure you that anytime you have a question about anything, whether it's the parent focus thing or not, you got to come in here and you got to ask your questions, because I always want to be able to respond to help you with whatever your parenting, you know, type situation is, or something going on with your child. Just because there's a parent focus doesn't mean that's the only thing, right? So just to know that. And then what I'm going to do is, for each of these members only calls, I'm going to spend a few minutes at the beginning of the members only call talking about the parent focus for that month or that quarter. And I'm thinking of them really as lessons. And so this hangout, this live members only call will be posted both in this channel, I guess this thread, in the parents, in the video, the live members only call like feed, right? But it's also going to be in this new forum under the communication with childcare kind of, it's going to have its own forum within that forum. So I hope all this makes sense. Please post your questions. I'm going to look at them in a minute just before I jump into the first question. But what I wanted to do was just share this call's lesson for childcare communication. And it is this. Our kids are looked after, you know, as we have them when they're babies, right? And maybe if we're lucky, we get a couple of months, maybe depending on where you live, you get a year, you know, in some countries, you can get a whole year of maternity leave. But eventually they are going to be in the care of others. And what I wanted to focus on for this first look at childcare coordinating and communicating is, I want to ask you to take a moment of gratitude for the other people who look after your child. And I would love it for you to either make a mental list or literally write down who else cares for your child, whether it's a spouse who lives somewhere else, or even with you, or a grandparent or a nanny or teachers or whatever. And I want you, just for today, I want you to set aside whatever strife and struggles you are having with them, because there's probably going to be some, or there's likely going to be some anyway. And I just want you to try and find at least one good thing that you can think or say or write about each of those people. And what I'm going to do as part of this is I'm going to make, like, each of these is going to have a worksheet that you'll be able to basically download and print out, and you can share in that forum with us if you want to. You know, I really want this to be, I want you to think of this as a really safe place where you can share about your concerns, but also where you can share about the things that you're grateful for the people who take care of your kids. So so you can look for that worksheet. It will probably not be until next week. As I said, I had this dream last night, so I've been spending my day today, like, I blew away whatever else I was going to do today. I got so excited about the Ninja Parenting community and doing this that I've been working on this all day. So I haven't had a chance to get this worksheet yet, but I will, because I want to be able to give you resources that you can print and have to hold. I mean, I think that's a really cool and special thing. So, okay. So your assignment, should you choose to accept it, if you are working on coordinating childcare communications, you know, with your childcare people, is write down or make a list of every single person that you can think of that takes care of your child, and try to think of or write down one good thing about each. Okay, so so that's this, you know, kind of childcare communication lesson. And I'm going to get to Mama Llama's question, but first I just want to read back some of these comments. Okay, so Jen says she can see and hear. Mama Llama says she's excited to be here. I'm so excited that you are here too. This is really great. Mama Llama says that is going to be awesome. That topic is going to be awesome. Yes, good. Mama Llama says, I think some new Facebook members may have joined from one of my Facebook parenting groups. I've been recommending your group/podcast/NPC a lot in there. Oh, very cool. So actually, I don't know if there's a person in the Facebook group named Ashley that you know, Mama Llama, but a person named Ashley just joined the Facebook group this week. And when I said, you know, how did you find us, or, you know, tell us about yourself or whatever, she said that it was recommended from another group. So maybe that was you. And if so, thank you so much. That's awesome. Oh, Jen says siblings. Yes, I do want to do siblings. When am I going to do siblings? I do want to do that. That's been a thing that's been on your mind for quite a while. Maybe I will. Maybe siblings needs to be next quarter, and then organization of home and that sort of thing can be put off or done. So, like, I definitely need to, I feel like, well, I don't know. Well, it's not what I need, is it? It's what you need. So we now have a request for siblings as the next thing. So if anybody wants, chime in either here or in the forums, wherever, to let me know what topics you really, really want to have these focuses on, and I will get that going. So, but I am going to make a note, because I think siblings would be a great one. And Jen, you've been really, really interested in that for a very long time. In fact, I remember when I did the course, you were one of the people who was at the course consistently, like every single week, live. So I think siblings would be fabulous. Okay, so siblings for, I'm just writing this down, for Q2 of 2019. Okay. All right. So Jen's got a big smile. She says, I love the quarterly approach of focus. That's nothing but good stuff. That's exactly how I felt. I can't tell you how I've been really working hard to be clear, to get clarity, not just in my own life, but in my, you know, my podcasting life and the work that I do for you guys, and to be able to, like, I've got up on my wall, I've got a bulletin board that has a pyramid of my priorities. And the top one is get productive peace and quiet. And cool things like this are what comes when you find productive peace and quiet. It frees up your mind. You know what I mean? So, so Jen says, my main thing to say about childcare communication, it's been very healthy and easy. I'm so grateful. Oh, that is awesome. That is, that's something that a lot of people do find a challenge. So I'm really glad that you have that, Jen. Oh, Ashley is in One Bad Mother. Oh my God, what a great name for a group. That's so great. Mama Llama says it's such a great group. Jen says, happy dance, siblings. Mama Llama says, would love to see ideas on how some of the sibling stuff can be used with an only. I love it because there are definitely situations where knowing about siblings is good for a parent with only one child. So, so cool. I think that's awesome. All right. I'm just writing, and how that could be useful with an only. There are ways, I promise. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go down to the questions. And the first one is from Mama Llama, who wrote a wonderful post because there's a little bit of like how it's been going in here. So I'm going to read probably quite a bit of it, if not all of it. Mama Llama says, I'm planning to join the call tonight. Yay, you're here. Overall, things are a lot better at our house. Potty training, pull-ups for nap/night only is going really well. He's rarely having accidents, and even those are generally at school, maybe 1 or 2 times a week. Just, oh my God, can we just celebrate that for a moment? I mean, like, this was such a high pressure situation, and it's going really well. I'm so proud. I'm so happy. I remember when you said a couple weeks ago that it's like he's finally figured out those muscles and he really knows how to work them now, so that's really cool. Okay. Teachers have said behavior is good. They've brought up a couple things, and I love this. This is crucial. Mama Llama has said, okay, we don't see that at home, but our setup is different and we do X. One was dumping water in the bathroom. The other was taking food from other kids / the garbage at the end of lunch. And then they offered solutions, finding ways to work more water play into his day and asking us to bring extra snacks to supplement lunch since he finishes his lunch and seems hungry. It's a plated school lunch, not family style. That makes me feel much better. Oh my God, God, this is just good to read, This is so cool. At home, I'm finding myself unsure of how firm to be on certain things. So actually, before we move on to the question, I just want to say, Mama Llama, how proud I am of you because you've really owned this. You know what I mean? You've really taken, you're advocating for your boy, and you're doing it in a situation that definitely has some stresses, but you're doing it. And I think that's so, and we can see the results. You know what I mean? That's so great. Okay. At home, Mama Llama continues, I'm finding myself unsure of how firm to be on certain things, like the spitting noises. No longer in my face, yay, but we have the occasional silly raspberry blowing at the dinner table or other spitty noise-making, blat, spit flies. Ugh, I know, it's awful. What I'm currently doing is saying, it's not okay to spit. If you spit again, we will stop X and walk to the bathroom so you can spit there. His response now is pretty consistently a shocked I'm sorry and offering a hug and then not doing it again. And Mama Llama's question is it okay that there isn't a consequence? And I love this question. First of all, it's not that there isn't a consequence. It's just that the consequence is an internal shift for your son from I'm going to do this thing to annoy somebody or to show my frustration or to get a rise out of somebody to he absentmindedly every once in a while makes a spitty raspberry. And as soon as he realizes that the consequences of your reaction are that he goes, oh, I'm a part of a system in which this is kind of not cool. So I'm not going to do it. If I'm reminded not to do it, I'm not going to do it. So there are consequences. That's a consequence. I guess that's really what I want you to understand. It's not a punishment or like a disciplinary measure. And so it seems to me, and I will read in the chat in a minute if this resonates with you. It seems to me that instead of the word consequence, what we might substitute here is it okay that there's not a disciplinary measure? And I think it's absolutely wonderful that there's not a disciplinary type measure. The consequence is enough. The consequence is enough. And that's a real milestone. Like this is really something to celebrate because he's barely 3 and he's learning that he's in a system where what he says and does matter and that he can't get a rise out of you, and which is so important because that's going to tamp down on the bad behaviors that we don't want and support the good behaviors that we do want, like being reminded that you've done something wrong and going, oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. I think that's so cool. Okay, same for things. So this next part, Mama Llama, I actually have some questions because I don't know what, for example, what a parking lot pal magnet is or what it does. So I'm gonna have to ask you to tell me in the chat so I can understand. Same for things like trying to drive a car on the parking lot. So I'm gonna understand, like what I think is that he's holding a little car and he wants to drive it around, right? I can't imagine you're not letting him get behind the wheel of your car, probably. Or pick up snow in the parking lot. He's still holding my hand or has his hand on his, quote, hot spot, which is a genius idea my friend gave me for parking lot safety, a parking lot pal magnet with a handprint. So you got to tell me about this. I say it's not safe to do that here, and the consequence if he does it again is he loses the toy if there's one involved, or choosing the music in the car. And what Mama Llama says is, if you're safe and kind getting to the car, you can choose the music. Oh, I love that so much. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So basically, he's starting to listen on the first time for some behaviors. Yay! And I'm not sure how to handle it. Is a simple warning enough, or should there be a consequence on the first infraction? So again, I'm going to reread that with the word disciplinary measure substituted for consequence. So basically, he's starting to listen on the first time for some behaviors. Yay! And I'm not sure how to handle it. Is a simple warning enough, or should there be a disciplinary measure on the first infraction for stuff like this that seems safety/respect related, but not blatant, like the raspberries at me or trying to run off in the parking lot? And I think as long as it's not a safety thing, I think not having a disciplinary measure, again, is great. There is a consequence. The consequence is his understanding that this is how Mom and I do things. They're really positive consequences. I think that's what I want you to understand. I hope I'm communicating this well, that there's a difference between a disciplinary tactic, taking away a toy or something like that, and we're doing a reminder where then he goes, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to do this the way my mom wants me to, because that's how I'm going to get this cool thing that I want, like to be able to choose the music or to have this toy. And again, as long as it's not a safety issue, as long as he is not, I think disciplinary measures come in when there's like a blatant, I think blatant was your word and I like it, where he is intentionally trying to bug you. Where he's intentionally trying to get a rise out of you, where he is just, refusing to listen. And if that's happening and you're finding that it's happening more, definitely jump into the forums and we can figure it out. Because sometimes, I actually think you've really got this figured out. You know exactly what to do to not let it escalate to that level, right? And if it does escalate, you know how to move through it quickly and go on to the next thing. Like, I'm really, really proud of you. So I guess in short, what I would say is a simple warning is enough. And if it ever becomes not enough, which I think is a little less likely, but if it ever becomes not enough, jump in here and we will figure it out, okay? So I hope that answers your question. I'm going to go back up into the chat before I move on to Jen's question. And, see what that's all about. Okay, so, I'm just scrolling up in the chat. Okay. Before the youngest, so Jen says, before the youngest was born, I felt crippled in lots of social situations because my kid had very little practice with other kids. Yeah, so I think that's one of the things that a sibling focus could do for people who are onlys in here. That no matter if your child is an only child or not, they're going to have to learn how to get along with other children. So, I hope it will be useful in that sense. Okay. They offered solutions. Fist pump, Microbiogen says. Yoo-hoo. Mama Llama says water play. Got a great picture of he and his friends playing with water today. Oh, so cool. Are you in a place where you can play with? So today I actually took a walk in the we've had the most pouring rain here today. So we've had like 0-degree temperatures, 1, 6, -1, whatever, for several days. And we went from that yesterday to almost 60 degrees today. And we've had all this like crusty, horrible frozen snow. I couldn't even take a walk yesterday. It was so frozen over, it was irritating my leg. Today, it's all like melted away because we've had a monsoon. It's been so crazy. So anyway, I was playing in water today, but that's because I took a walk. I came home completely drenched. I loved it. I don't know. I like weather like that sometimes. So Mama Llama says snacks fail so far because I just had to take in what I had in my car that day, which were my snacks and not really things he had tried before. So he spit them on the table and then started foraging. His dad restocked today with familiar items today, so hopefully that works. Cool. Jen says, you made a threat that you'll totally carry out if needed. That threat will turn into a consequence if he makes the choice. Yes, I think that's exactly right. So Jen is sort of restating what I was saying, and I think that's absolutely right. Mama Llama says, it feels so much less full of power struggles, but it has me feeling too soft. Oh, that's a very common feeling. I get it. But I think, enjoy that. What I would suggest to you is enjoy the hell out of that, because what it means is that there's a lot less struggle. If you ever do worry about that, then jump in here and talk about it, because hopefully can reassure you, but also like, I understand that feeling, and I want you to not worry so much about it. It isn't soft. It's civility. It's you having a nice exchange with your child instead of feeling like you have to punish, right? And I think that's really cool. So okay. This thing that goes on the car, I forget what it's called now, but Mama Llama says it's a circle magnet that goes on your car, has a handprint on it, and you teach them that their hand stays on the magnet till you take their hand to hold it. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Wow, that is so cool. Because kids have such magical thinking. I can see you being like, oh, your hand's got to stay stuck because it's a magnet. Oh my God, I love that so much. That's so cool. Mama Llama says he's doing a really good job with the magnet. We call it a hotspot, which I also love. My niece and nephew saw it and love it, so now my brother does the same with his gas cap. Oh, that's such a good idea too. That was a picture from daycare. So cold here. So this was indoors, and they send you guys pictures. That's really cool. Yes, enjoy the hell out of it. Enjoy the hell out of this, like not having to be punishing. Just enjoy the time with your child, and know that it's awesome. It's good fun, when you can move past the crummy things and into better things. So, okay. So I am going to, Mama Llama, thank you so much for that question. This has been such a great discussion. And so here's Jen's reply to clothes meltdowns. So just to kind of sum up, Jen's oldest, her name is Ruby. She has really struggled, as Jen used to as a kid, with clothes that are too loose. She likes things to be nice and tight on her body. She likes the seatbelt done up really tight. I have a nephew who's like that, so I know exactly what that is, and how that feels. And I have a child actually who really is very super sensitive, can't stand tight things at all, wants things to be loose and soft and stuff like that. So it's been interesting to read about this. But anyway, sometimes Ruby will have meltdowns because the clothes that she had chosen aren't working for her. So I'd made a video, I'd made some suggestions. So I think I'm gonna leave it there and read what Jen has said. Okay. It's been a weird week with the holiday Monday. I got struck down with a foodborne illness yesterday. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you're feeling better. If you're here, hopefully you're feeling better. None of this has gone into practice yet in terms of the steps that I had suggested and outlined. But I have noticed her clothing choices. Pardon me. I've noticed Ruby's clothing choices with a different eye in view of setting aside a bug out choice. So what I had recommended was take some clothes that are pretty reliably good clothes and set them aside so that she's got, if the clothes that she wakes up and she can't stand, she's got something that she can choose instead. Those plastic dollar store shoes are her favorite by far. I roll. Reading it, I almost went, huh. That's so funny. They're shared property though. And so they all aren't always available for Ruby. They're shared obviously with her sister, I'm going to guess. Okay. That observation gave me an aha moment, because you're not sharing shoes with your daughter. I don't think that, no, it's got to be Lily, right? that observation gave me an aha moment that jealousy and frustration is probably what precipitates the meltdown. Oh, that is really interesting. As soon as she's upset about the shoes and nothing can be done about that because Lily left for school half an hour ago, she transfers her fury to other clothing items. For example, a couple of days the left shoe was missing, so neither kid could wear them. This morning I found the shoe and Ruby happily wore them to school. On Sunday, Ruby did have a whine fest, although not a full-blown meltdown over dress shoes, complaining that they were too loose. I told her she could keep them off as long as she was seated and just had to wear them when she was walking. She reluctantly accepted that rule and we went on with our day. Good for you. That's awesome. Good for you. I have no personal experience sharing clothes with others. The kids have been using a shared sock bin for a few months and that has worked well. Both girls have their favorites, but they accept the fact that the bins are first come and first served. I'd like to do the same with other clothes, but it feels massively different. I can't quite put my finger on it. Um, I think in view of this, it might be a better idea to particularly for Ruby to let something be proprietary, like it might make more problems for you on a weekday morning if an hour ago Lily left in what Ruby feels like is the only shirt she's going to be able to tolerate today. And I would just hate that. And I think sharing some things is wonderful, but it's also nice to have some things that are proprietary, as long as that doesn't go against your kind of code of like, we live in a shared community and that's why we share all these things. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that's 2 cents. You can write, give me some comments and I will read them after I'm done with this part of the question, okay? And if I could get a second pair of these plastic shoes, I don't think I would. They're poor quality. Even though they've lasted 6 months already, I could be misjudging the importance of quality shoes at this age when they outgrow them so fast. But anyway, even with a second pair, then we'd have arguments over the preferred color. And even an identical green pair would produce arguments over who wants the new pair and who has to wear the old pair. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. It looks to me like this is going to have to be a group decision. Whatever we come up with has to meet both girls' needs to access the clothes that fit and to protect the clothes they don't want to share. I can imagine all kinds of ways to do it, but none of it seems sustainable after the first trip through the washing machine mixes everything up again. It's like they're too young to do their own laundry, but they're asking me to uphold a system that really requires them to do their own laundry. How do I keep peace while they mature into the system they seem to want? This is so interesting. Partly because this is not in my frame of reference. With our boys, they always wore different size clothes. So Max tended to be a little bit taller, a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of like growth. And Jay was 4 years younger and more like smaller. And and also, so that's one thing. But the other thing is, Jay never liked any of Max's clothes. He only wanted to wear jeans, and Max hated jeans and never ever wanted to wear jeans. Had there been this kind of situation that you're describing, I can see going to, okay, you guys each do your own laundry much sooner. I see no reason why, for example, Ruby couldn't do her own laundry. Is she 5 or 6, right? I think it may be a little young for Lily, and I think for Ruby, there's going to be, if you do decide to do this, there's going to be there's a learning curve there. But so what we always did was all 4 of our clothes were mixed in together, and once a week was laundry day, and everybody took turns with the sorting and the moving from the washer to the dryer, and then the folding. We all, we taught the kids. I used to work in a laundromat a long time ago as a teenager, so like it was second nature to me to teach the kids how to fold laundry. They don't do it amazingly, but they do it just fine. And we've really seen improvement actually as they've gotten older. So I would guess probably sometime in the last year, once Max got a job with a uniform, he basically withdrew from the whole laundry thing because now suddenly his laundry needs are different from ours. So he's just started doing his own laundry and making sure that he has what he needs for work, for school, for whatever. And I would say in the last maybe 6 months or so, I don't even know why, Jay just basically started doing his own laundry. I think probably because he couldn't be bothered to get his stuff together to go into the family laundry. So now it's actually awesome. Like Ben and I have our own laundry day that we do all our laundry. And each kid takes care of their own laundry. I can't tell you it is something for you guys to aspire to. The day when you no longer have to worry about anybody's laundry but your own. It's very cool. It's a very cool day, and it's coming for you. So especially because this is Ruby's issue, what if Ruby does her own laundry? This is just an example. I mean, like, if this feels too overwhelming, don't do it. But what if you can teach Ruby to do her own laundry, and Lily's laundry still goes into the family laundry? I don't know if that's possible, or if it resonates or whatever. And then thinking about the shoes, I think you're right to think, oh, well, if they're cheap plastic shoes, the kids are going to outgrow them soon anyway. So like, why worry about expensive, amazing shoes? The only solution I can see, though, is to get rid of the old pair and each of them gets their own new pair, and they choose their colors and say la vie, right? It didn't occur to me actually until, because they're closer together, so they must have feet that are pretty well the same size, which is kind of cool. But I don't know if that's an idea that would work if you get them each their own new pair of cheap plastic shoes. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if any of that works, and I'm going to just read up in the comments and see. Okay. So, so we have no comments, but that might just be, hold on, let me hit renew, because sometimes I get, I don't see stuff. Yes. Okay, cool. Okay. Jen says, I'm 100% recovered today. Hurrah! Mama Llama says, glad you're feeling better. Yes. Jen says, we have no special values about sharing stuff like that, but I forgot to mention how frustrated Ruby is starting to get about Lily's constant request to borrow her stuff. I think that it really might be a good time for kind of, this is proprietary to Ruby kind of a thing. And also this is proprietary to Lily, those are really interesting things for siblings to have to work out, right? Jen says, mine are 25 months apart. Little Lily is 80th percentile. We're going to be sharing for a while, I think, and Ruby is 6 years old. So you have the exact opposite for me. I had, my first one is, way up on the growth chart, right? And the second one is 4 years younger and way back on the growth chart. So like there was no chance in hell that they could share the same clothes pretty well. Like Jay is still wearing some of Max's stuff from 4 or 5 years ago. But you have the exact opposite problem where they're pretty much, because of their relative ages and growth chart areas, they're in the same percentile. That's so interesting. I've been wishing to teach Ruby this year to do her own laundry. A goal with no action is just a wish, so that's where I'm at. I get it. When they each choose their own colors, they're usually wailing, "That's mine," for a while, until one day they ask nicely to try yours, and then everyone forgets who has which color. And again, they're sisters, right? You want them to be able to share things when they want to, and when it works. This is, could you put it to Ruby, maybe? I don't, again, what I always wanted to avoid and want you to avoid is like, well, you're the older one, therefore you get to make decisions that are going to impact your little sister. Like, one of the things I always hated was being told that I was in charge because I was the oldest. So my parents would go out, "You're in charge. Anybody does anything, you have to listen to Karen." And what that did was it turned, we were pretty close, but every once in a while it would turn a brother against me. They'd be like, "Well, if you're in charge of me," you know what I mean? And I'd get a wet raspberry. So I don't want you to treat Ruby like somehow better because she's older, or to treat Lily somehow not as good about making her own choices because she's younger. Like that's not what we do. Like, so now when we go out, or when we started this, when we were first able to leave the kids alone together, which was probably when Max was maybe 12 or 13, we never said, "Max, take care of your little brother. He's your responsibility." What we said was, be good brothers, take care of each other. And I really get the sense that that's the kind of values that you want to instill in your girls. And that makes me want to find a solution that incorporates that. And maybe it is, as long as they're both wearing the same size shoes, maybe it is like you get 2 new pairs of shoes and, oh, somebody wears one pair today and somebody wears the other pair. And I think it's a really good insight too that Ruby has these meltdowns when those shoes disappear on Lily's feet or something like that. I think that's really insightful, and it's just good knowledge. So, keep that observation hat on, and I hope that something I've said in here tonight has been helpful for you. And let us know how else we can be helpful, basically. Mama Llama says, I totally agree about the cheap shoes being fine. We get maybe 6 to 9 months out of a shoe size, so we are constantly replacing shoes. And Jen says, my takeaway tonight is teach the laundry chore. I think that's a really good place to start, because then there are going to be some things that Ruby's going to say, well, this is mine. I washed it. Like, it's mine. I can't let you borrow it. And it's also, I think we want to teach kids that it is fine for things that are their proprietary stuff to share or not share. Like, it's fine for kids to take care of their own things and not want to loan them out. I think that's God. I wish I had checked with Ben. I think I want to share a story, but I don't have permission, basically. So I won't. I will ask him. I'll make a note to ask him next time, and I will. I just bear with me while I write this down without saying it out loud. Hold on, I'm still writing. Okay. All right. And Mama Llama says, my takeaway tonight, it's okay to enjoy the hell out of this. It doesn't always have to be a struggle. Yes. What a good call tonight. I love that you guys are here live. If you couldn't be here live, but you're watching this, I'm so glad that you are here and you're watching it. And it just means so much to me that you are in this community and that you, I don't know, are here, I guess. Really, pretty much that's what it is. We're here together, and I love that so much. Whether it's live or whether it is recorded, I mean, we're still here together. And as always, if you got any questions, jump in and ask. I did make a video this week about the clothes meltdowns, and I'll get answers to whatever questions you've got. This group is where my heart is, and I love it, love it, love it. I love you guys. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to say goodnight and wish you a wonderful weekend. I will have this worksheet up in the forums, this new forum operational, the Parent Focus Forum. Hopefully early next week is my goal. And I'm just excited about that and what all this is going to mean and how cool it all is. So, okay. Cheers. Have a good night. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.